fades out so quickly. Live from the What's This White Stuff Falling from the Skies studios. Is it snowing in Connecticut?
It was, yeah.
We actually have snow in Maine. I honestly can't believe it.
Well, can you not believe it because you just were not in Maine?
No, because it doesn't snow anymore because the world
because of climate change.
Not as fun as it used to be. It's part one of our very unnecessary two-part 2023 prediction extravaganza that these two idiots talked me into somehow, featuring Matt Biscardi, Lord of Board Sabermetrics, and Lord Scallion, Jesse the Money Whisperer, and me, the Duke of Norwich, in today's crawdad soaked bag called January 12th, 2023 predictions. Lots of predictions.
Yeah.
Yeah, show some enthusiasm. Why are we doing this, Matt?
Because this is what our audience wants.
Okay.
Just pretend we have an audience, and then we'll say.
Well, I'm pretty sure we do have an audience.
Look, there's nothing says fun like going over the predictions you made last year on the 12th of the following year, and then doing the rest of the predictions you're going to make for this year like 2 weeks into the year.
I don't know what he just said. Jesse, do you know what's going on?
No.
Okay. Well, here's what I do know. Here's what I do know, that tomorrow on our normally scheduled Friday show, we will be doing our 2023 predictions. That makes sense to me. I understand that.
We're doing that. And there's a lot of them.
I haven't done mine.
A lot of predictions.
In
you
honor,
haven't done any yet?
No.
Ari's only like half done hers. She just has ideas.
I have literally the best predictions I've ever made.
I know. I feel like I couldn't look at yours because then they were going to influence mine. So I haven't even looked.
Well, I might have some objective truth whether what you just said is true or not, because I have some of last year's predictions from the Friday show itself. Because every week we did predictions. So let's see if yours are great or not. You might think they're great.
Look, it depends on how stretchy we get with what credit is.
That's
so
true.
Let's
begin.
Let's do
you
this
start,
thing.
You kick us off.
All right, let's do this thing. It's last year's prediction Ganza.
Okay, so to be clear, we have this is how ridiculous we are. We have two sets of predictions that we're covering from last year. One is from the 2022 prediction show, and the other that I'm going to cover is all the predictions we made during the year.
That is correct.
All right, go.
Last year's prediction show, the 2022 prediction show, Damien, Ari, Emma Lurking, and I sat in a room and discussed what we thought would happen. Here are the things that we thought would happen.
And these are the real predictions, because we actually spent time. During the show, those predictions are kind of silly, absurd. But these are the real predictions. This is where we actually took the time and effort to put our
we thought about these. That's how bad. When they're really bad, that's what you have.
I'm excited because I completely forgotten about all of these.
I'm going to go through all of them.
All of them?
We'll do most of them quickly. Let's start with big losses, okay? Things that didn't happen. We'll do these quickly, okay?
Yeah.
Damien.
Yes.
Predicted that Zuck will step down and pass the baton to Fiji Simo.
Okay, that sounds reasonable.
That did not happen. Didn't even come close to happening. In fact, what Zuck did instead was create a meta hell, and Fiji became the CEO of Instacart.
So Fiji Simo is a real person. I thought it was some fever dream of mine because of all the Southeast Asian CEOs that are taking over.
That was your theory. It was the early permutation of Southeast Asian theory, except that Fiji was a woman, and you thought that Zuck would step down and give it to a Southeast Asian woman.
Okay, but she did become the CEO somewhere. Look, that's not the worst. It's not the worst.
It's not correct. You also predicted that the Business Roundtable would redefine the purpose of the corporation with zero solutions, warning that the metaverse is a mess and CEOs can't hide behind purpose dressed up as ESG scores.
I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, explain that to Jesse.
That would take me like 2 weeks to
explain
dissect
that to Jesse.
That.
Yeah, you don't know what it means because it's a word salad. All it means is the Business Roundtable would say the metaverse sucks, and CEOs can't use ESG scores to hide behind. That's all he's saying.
Well, I was partly right there. There's been some backlash against woke CEOs.
You're
Right?
not right. No.
Okay.
Your Business Roundtable didn't redefine anything. In fact, if anything, they disappeared.
I will say with this whole anti-woke movement, we don't talk about the Business Roundtable anymore. I should bring that back.
Well, they're a punchline in the anti-woke movement talking points now. Now it's like the Business Roundtable, decided that woke capitalism was what they were going to follow, and that's why everyone's angry.
So Jesse can be less confused. The Business Roundtable is this group of very conservative CEOs that suddenly in 2019 decided to announce that they were going to redefine the purpose of a corporation to be not only for shareholders but for all stakeholders. They kind of they launched a stakeholder-friendly capitalism that, of course, I applauded because that's what I believe in. But of course, it was bullshit. But still, even today, the Viveks of the world, the Ron DeSantis of the world, they attack Larry Fink at BlackRock. I don't know why they don't attack the Business Roundtable because they're the ones that really got this ball rolling.
Well, they started in on the Chamber of Commerce. In fact, the anti-woke launched a new Chamber of Commerce for conservative values because they thought the Chamber of Commerce, was too liberal now. Like, it's bananas what they're doing. So, but I'm going to say you were wrong with that one.
Right.
Here's another one you were wrong about. Bloomberg launches an ESG ratings product emphasizing E after hit jobs on MSCI.
Oh, I'm calling bullshit on this one, too. I thought we heard some rumblings that Bloomberg is, in fact, working on some kind of a product, an ESG. No? Wait,
I
what?
don't think so. I don't. They are platforming a bunch of other ones, but I haven't heard anything about them. Let's just say in 2022 they definitely did not launch a product.
True.
So wrong. Right. And then you finally the one you were wrong about was you predicted the first metaverse death.
Which is strange because you also predicted that. I have this later in the show. You also predicted that during
Mid-year,
our Friday show.
We were both wrong. What actually happened was Zuck programmed legs for himself.
That's true. So I'll have the partial victory.
Wait, what does that mean?
Yeah, tell everyone what that means, Matt.
So, which part? The metaverse part? The Zuck part?
No, the programmed legs. Does that mean like on his figure in the metaverse? I don't get it.
He launched a big campaign about the metaverse in the fall, showed him his avatar, and it was basically a talking torso. It was like a head and a torso. And then they sort of relaunched it with updated graphics and gave him legs. That was the major advance.
But the scandal there was a scandal, right?
So is he the only one with legs? So he can climb above everybody else faster?
That might be true. But no, wait, before you get to that, Matt, there was a scandal to this story, because the legs themselves weren't created in the metaverse. They were actually, wasn't it an imported graphic? Like even that wasn't real.
It wasn't like they programmed it. It was in fact, there was a quote from somebody who said programming legs is actually very hard. That was
I believe that. I believe that was a quote. Jesse and I can't even program a Squarespace website, so I believe that.
True.
All right.
That's where Damien was wrong. Here's Damien's partial credit for 2022.
Oh.
Damien predicted that a major firm would sell shares of itself completely to employees, to an employee stock plan.
Yeah.
Patagonia sold itself entirely to the environment.
It's basically a win. It's a win.
That feels like partial credit.
It's a sentimental win.
That is a partial win. Also predicted the release of the Metadiaper in the metaverse.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't in the metaverse. The Metadiaper was something that a real human in the real world could wear.
A Meta-branded diaper,
Yeah, it would recycle the nutrients so that when you excavate yourself, you don't have to jack out of the metaverse. You could stay plugged in, locked in the metaverse. Right. The real thing that happened was Facebook announced the release of the Meta Quest Pro headset that looks like a diaper that you put on your face.
Oh, is that true? Okay.
And it's when you look at somebody wearing it, you do want to take a dump. So I'm going to say that's partial credit.
I don't want to take credit for that.
You got partial credit whether you want it or not. And then the one thing that you actually got right in 2022, and this is a big one, is you said the culture wars replace the virus wars as states ban left corporations from operating in state lines.
Come on, this is a major victory. Major victory.
Spot on.
Take that.
I loved it.
ISS, Morningstar.
I know. Not one trends paper for ESG is going to write that down.
That's a major win.
That was a major win. Saw that coming. That's Damien's. Yep. Ari, we'll go through Ari's because she's not here.
Yeah. But she did say before the show began that we're not allowed to make fun of her, but that's not going to happen.
False.
It's false.
That is incorrect.
Yep.
That prediction is also wrong. So here are Ari's predictions that were wrong. Ari predicted that Coca-Cola Corporation will sell alcohol.
Can I just say
the actual thing that happened was they had been selling alcohol for 5 years prior to that prediction.
And can I say this goes along with a trend with a lot of Ari's predictions. Ari's predictions, for the most part, are kind of boring. I mean, no offense, Ari.
Oh, ouch.
But they're just kind of like Coke sells something. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not a prediction.
Well, you can get Ari to. You can.
This is really daunting for tomorrow. I'm nervous. I might be sick tomorrow.
I want you to really go for it, Jesse. I don't want you to come back with Nike sells orange shorts. Okay?
I was telling a couple to Rob, and he was like, "Those are never gonna happen." And I'm
like
"Yeah,
that.
but a girl can wish."
But
so.
that's a great prediction. You're really going for it. And who the hell is Rob? Yeah.
Pepe Le Rob. All right. Predicted by Ari was Bumble, Coke, Spotify become major metaverse players. Now, not only do I not really know what that means,
I don't know what that
but
means
what
either.
really happened was Mark Zuckerberg programmed himself legs. So I'm going to say that Ari just missed entirely.
And to be fair, there are no major metaverse players, right? It's not.
There's no major metaverse.
Isn't that the purpose?
It's not a thing. Ari predicted that Bombas, the sock company, I think it's socks. They do socks.
Nobody cares.
Bombas.
Yeah.
Bombas. I don't know how do you say it. Bombas.
They're the most expensive socks ever.
They are that, and she predicted that as a result they would IPO, and instead they did not IPO.
See, what kind of a prediction is that?
That didn't happen.
That's not a prediction.
They did actually consider it in February of 2022.
Why is it not a prediction?
Just we're not. Who are we? We're like Goldman Sachs analysts. What are we doing here?
She is an analyst.
Okay, but what are we doing here? We don't make market predictions. I don't know. That's not our style.
She also predicted on the back of that one, as a market analyst, she predicted the death of the shapewear industry.
Well. But don't socks kind of shape your calves if they're tight? So Bombas
compression socks. Yes, compression socks do that for like old ladies who ride airplanes.
That's what she was talking about.
You're correct about that.
I've seen like tons of ads for stockings or whatever that don't rip.
You have.
That don't rip. So there's
tons
like this
ads.
newfound excitement over.
Oh.
Matt, she sees tons of ads.
I don't even know the current word. They're not called stockings.
And tights.
Jesse, what are you watching? What are you watching exactly where you see all these ads?
It's just on Instagram. They just pop up and it's like these leggings with people trying to run knives through them or scissors.
Wow, I want to be part of your Instagram. I like your Instagram.
I don't even wear them. I didn't even know. I couldn't even think of the word tights. I was calling them stockings like I'm from the 20s.
Well, 2020s, yeah.
That leaves us with the one. I already got partial credit for nothing because she wasn't close. But she did get one prediction totally right.
Yeah.
She predicted that Kyle, her roommate, would get a girlfriend.
Oh, that's not. Come on. Boo.
It happened. It happened.
That's not a real prediction either.
I've met her. I've played volleyball with her.
Oh, you can't. No. You can't run the soundboard here. And then that leaves me. We're going to skip Emma Lurking because Emma Lurking's not here. And I'm not going to make fun of her.
I don't like that you're not doing Emma's predictions, but
too bad.
I'll file a grievance later.
Yeah, tell HR. I predicted the following that were totally false. I predicted that board lawsuits would become normal. And in fact,
I don't know what that means.
There's a new Delaware law that makes holding boards accountable actually harder.
Oh.
So I predicted the opposite of what happened.
That's kind of cool, though. Something happened, though.
I predicted that the metaverse would become a militarized zone, as in like
that could happen.
China and Russia and the U.S. would all be vying on the metaverse.
That's coming.
For stuff. And what I got right was none of that. What actually happened was Mark Zuckerberg programmed legs for himself.
You keep saying that. You got to stop saying that.
No, that's the only thing that happened. So everything that's what happened. I predicted that Greg Goff would become the CEO of Exxon.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, Greg Goff is best friends with the CEO of Exxon, Darren Woods, who's still the CEO of Exxon.
That's close.
Yeah, I wasn't that close. I predicted that Theranos' verdict would abdicate investors forever from needing to do due diligence. Because when that verdict came down against Elizabeth Holmes, it basically was an investor, the investors won, saying you committed fraud, even though the investors themselves did no due diligence on Elizabeth Holmes or Theranos in the lead up to that, right? What happened instead was FTX collapsed in a major way, and investors did no due diligence and lost all their money. So I was wrong. They were not abdicated from doing due diligence. They still had to do it, apparently.
Well, I hope if there ever is a time where we're looking for investment, I hope they don't do their due diligence.
Yeah, don't do it.
For us.
No, you know what's going to happen? We're going to go look for investor capital, which, by the way, if you're an investor and you have capital, feel free to throw some our way.
Yeah, call Jesse.
And they'll be like, we're going to get like the 900th degree. They're going to strip every layer out of us and not give us any money. I predicted that Robinhood memes, the meme stock people, would actually turn to proxy voting. So instead of pumping up the price of something, they would pump the votes and they would vote out directors. I was totally wrong about that.
Is Robinhood even still a thing anymore? I don't even know.
It exists. And I also predicted that the metaverse would launch a mega church for Meta Jesus.
That's probably partly true. Isn't that America? Isn't America a meta church?
I was wrong. Mark Zuckerberg gave himself legs. Oh. All right, so here's where I have partial credit, where I gave myself partial credit. I predicted the rise of the angry white zombie director.
Okay.
Now, if you don't know what a zombie director is, this is for you, Jesse, because the three people who listen to this show probably do know what a zombie director is. A zombie director is someone who is on the board. Investors vote them out. They don't get 50% approval. So they effectively get voted out as a member. But because the votes are advisory votes, they don't have to listen to them. They choose to stay on the board instead. So they don't have investor support, and they stay on.
Oh, my God. Okay.
My prediction was that a white director would not get sufficient votes, and a diverse director would, and the white director in protest would stay on the board instead of giving their seat.
I don't remember that level
director.
of detail in that prediction. Are you making that up?
That was my prediction. Yeah,
okay.
This is like I copy pasted this. He would
a
white male director would refuse to leave due to a push for diversity. So I got that wrong. Actually, what happened was Egon Durbin was a zombie director and stayed on the Twitter board after being voted out and got paid by Elon Musk. That's what happened instead. So that worked out.
Well,
I predicted.
Yeah, you're partly right though. In general, I feel like that what you just said is sort of a metaphor for the anti-woke movement. Is right.
That's why I gave myself partial credit.
Angry white zombie directors sticking around so that unexcellent black female leaders don't take over the world.
Yeah, they only got it because they were black and female, not because they were qualified. And I predicted partial credit here. BlackRock becomes an ESG anti-hero, and that institutions would not take up their voting choice.
No.
And actually, I would say BlackRock is sort of an anti-hero.
Yeah, I think you're partially right about that. It's a confusing thing because what's that statement about your enemy? Your enemy hates is your friend or your buddy.
The enemy of the friend of your enemy's friend's enemy.
Because somehow this year I kind of like BlackRock more than I did last year. I don't know why. Just because Ron DeSantis hates them, it's really weird. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. It's actually really uncomfortable because we spent 2 years at this company making fun of BlackRock, and now we're in the position where we kind of have to defend them. That's really.
But we can also make fun of them while we
do. But guess how much they take you seriously when you make fun of the same thing that you.
I know.
Are defending.
I know, it's confusing.
But the one I got right was I predicted that Free Float would launch a product, and we did. We launched a product.
Whoa! Stop the applause.
What?
Have we officially launched the product? I know we're getting closer. In fact, we just hired
Okay, you're confusing the platform with the product.
Platform, a soft launch.
The API has been on in 2022. The product is out. It exists. The data's there. It's done.
Damien and I just haven't seen we have no idea how to conceptualize.
Yeah, we don't believe you.
An API, so we're just like, oh, it's still imaginary.
It's just a data feed. You guys are like...
Yeah, I guess you get a victory. But I got to be honest. Only I had an actual prediction that came true. Ari's prediction is silly.
Come on.
It's silliness. Kyle? Who the hell is Kyle? And
Kyle's the only thing that predicted...
Matt, you predicted that something that you're working on would happen. I mean, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? I'm the only one of actual intelligence. That's what Jesse's thinking. That's what she's thinking.
That's what we did for 2022. So, Damien.
Yeah.
Now we do the 2022 in-show predictions.
Oh God, I can't believe we're going to keep going with this.
This is just more predictions that we got wrong and right.
I'll try to go quickly on this.
Yeah, please.
Okay, first of all, we did hundreds of predictions because each week
we did.
The four of us would make predictions. Although Jesse, Ari, you guys often would chicken out and not make predictions, which I would make fun of at the time. But thank God you didn't, because it really made my job today a lot easier. But let me just
They suck anyways. We've been told.
No, yours don't suck. Ari's suck. Ari's are boring. I didn't say yours sucked. I'm actually looking forward to your predictions. Here's the first thing I will say is that I probably deleted 50 Elon Musk predictions because nobody cares. Nobody cares about Elon anymore. It's too much. So we're not going to cover a lot of those. Let's start with some no's. We've got a bunch of boring, of predictions that didn't come true. Yeah. What?
Elon was in the headlines today.
I know, but
he just asked Twitter employees to work from home because he doesn't want to pay rent. That is 4 weeks after telling them they had to come to the office.
I thought he ridiculed people from working from home. Did he not?
Yeah, he said it was mandatory that you come into the office, and he just said today that you have to go work from home because they don't want to pay rent in San Francisco.
All right, let me start with two Elon Musk predictions that we got wrong. Matt, you predicted that Elon would join the board of Twitter.
Come on. That's
a soft wrong. Instead, he bought Twitter and then disbanded the board. So I don't know.
I'm giving myself partial credit.
Ari predicted that Elon Musk would buy the Phoenix Suns, the basketball team. No way that's happening now. He's a pariah, right? I mean, nobody likes Elon anymore. Nobody likes him.
The Suns got bought anyway. The Suns got bought for $4 billion. So he could have bought 11 NBA teams for the amount he paid for Twitter.
I predicted a prominent female CEO would be fired, maybe Mary Barra. I'm wrong about that. I don't think a prominent. First of all, how many prominent female CEOs?
Keyword.
Yeah, there aren't that many, unfortunately, and I don't think any of them had been fired. Ari predicted optimistically that both Google and Amazon would either release racial equity findings or announce a civil rights audit. That's not happening at Google or Amazon.
It's not now because Vivek says the number one question to ask your financial advisor is, did you vote yes on a racial equity audit? So
here's a big miss for me. Now. I said that Disney would make a major diversity hire as an ESG pittance for don't say gay problems. And does Bob Iger count as a major diversity hire?
I'm going to say whatever
the whitest man in America. Does that count? With the cleanest teeth ever known?
Whatever the opposite of that is.
I also predicted so many times, because I was just wanted to be true, that Melody Hobson would become the CEO at Starbucks, meaning that Starbucks would have the first S&P 500 company with black women in charge, both as CEO and chair. That didn't happen.
It didn't
Fail.
happen. No, that was wrong. But they did fall under your South Asian.
They did. They hired Laxman Narasimhan as the new CEO. So that's something. I
mean, that's good.
What about this one, Matt? You predicted that Howard Schultz would be fired by Starbucks. Well, I mean, he's leaving.
I feel like fired is what keeps me from being right about that, but I was pretty close.
We had a lot of Bobby Kotick predictions. Do you realize that the merger between Activision Blizzard and Microsoft still has not gone through? It's still pending. When did they announce this? How long ago was that?
They announced it a year ago in the fall. It was like November.
Get it over with. Let them buy. Who cares? Let them buy. What are we doing?
This is where I disagree with Lena Khan because she's making an antitrust case with this. And it's like, and the whole thing hinges on Call of Duty.
Right.
It says
but they already agreed to let Nintendo have it. Yeah.
Yeah. The largest video game. You'd have too much control. And it's like, really? Really? Facebook has 85 or 90% of the social media market, but we're worried about Call of Duty? Maybe bring an antitrust case against the companies that matter.
Here's why I want it to go through is because I still think that Microsoft actually has adults running the company, and Bobby Kotick certainly is not an adult. And I want them to take over Activision Blizzard so they can get rid of Bobby Kotick.
Except the joke would be on you because Bobby Kotick would
in his pocket.
$200 million. Yeah, so not that bad.
Here, how about some predictions that could still happen? I like these. I like this one. I predicted that Charlie Munger would die 2 days after the CDC announced the official end of the pandemic. I think the pandemic is still happening, right? Technically?
It's raging in China as we speak.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? So it could still happen. Matt, you predicted a meta war. I like this one. A meta war. That could still happen, and it will happen, right?
Yeah. It doesn't look like anyone's there.
How about this one? Ari predicted that Matt will get COVID again. Have you had COVID more than once?
I didn't get COVID twice. So
okay, but that could still happen.
But he's been sick a lot.
He's sick a lot. How about this one from the great Emma Lurking? Elon Musk will hire Stuart Kirk. Remember Stuart Kirk?
Oh, yeah.
As the CEO of Twitter. I like this one.
Wow.
Tell Jesse who Stuart Kirk is.
Stuart Kirk, it was the head of responsible investing. Now, let me say that again.
This is a true story. It's a true story.
Of responsible investing.
Yeah.
Who spoke at a conference and basically said responsible investing, like climate change is not something that a responsible investor should care about until everyone's dead.
Who was he working for?
So he got fired from his job.
Where was it?
HSBC, I want to say, or Barclays, HSBC, I think. He got fired from his job, and
well, that's good.
He's not totally. The thing is, I agreed with a lot of what he said about the bullshit, but he did say that the world was full of climate alarmists, and he didn't like their shrill voices or something like that. So that's a good prediction.
I feel like we should be alarmed about the climate.
Yeah, come on. Stuart Kirk disagrees with you.
How about this one? For all the members of the FBI and CIA listening, please just take your headphones off for a few seconds. I like this one. Emma predicted that she was going to commit an unforgivable act against Brett Kavanaugh. That could still happen.
That could.
We haven't heard from Emma in a while. Maybe right now
that's
she's
why
plotting.
We haven't heard. Yeah.
Jesse looks shocked, but yeah.
Yeah, an unforgivable act. Yeah.
I predicted that the mainstream media would copy us and start to refer to people like Mark Zuckerberg as corporate dictators. That could still happen.
That feels close, actually. There's a lot of moves against dual class now.
That's right.
Nobody likes it. Yeah, so it could happen.
How about this one from you, Matt? Tesla gets an activist investor. That could
100%.
Happen,
that's going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm guaranteeing that's going to happen.
I'll
put it in my 2023s right now.
Because that's a shit show of a operation over there at Tesla. I love this one from you, Matt. And at first I thought, there's no way this is going to happen. But the more I thought about it, I thought, you know what? It could probably still happen and might. Matt, you predicted that SBF, that's Sam Bankman-Fried, right? Who's now in jail in the Bahamas. Adam Newman, the poster child for failing upwards. He orchestrated the WeWork disaster, but somehow ended up with $1.7 billion in his pocket.
As you do.
And Elon Musk would join forces and create a mega app. I feel like that could still happen in some bizarro world, right?
The problem is that SBF is going to be in jail. It's just going to be really hard to coordinate. I'm just saying logistically, it's hard to coordinate. Yeah. But it's possible, but it's low. Let's give it a low probability.
How about this one? I predicted that bald Bob Chapek, right, who was the CEO of Disney, would become a gay icon. He would become a big, bald, gay Bob icon, right? Now, look, I know that hasn't happened yet, but the anti-woke movement, the right wing, is taking credit for ousting Bob Chapek. So it's still possible that he becomes.
Is he gay? Is he?
No. Does it matter? You don't have to be gay to be a big gay icon, right? Like Lady Gaga, she's not gay.
The only thing that
Liza
question
Minnelli
hinges on is mostly if he keeps his stylist, because there's no way OG bald Bob Chapek was going to be any sort of icon for anyone, much less gay.
You had a prediction I hopefully could come true. I like this prediction that Elon Musk buying Twitter is the beginning of the end of Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act. That very well could be true.
Look, got to hand it to the Republicans in the House of Representatives who have no ability to do anything except for investigate things that no one cares about. This would be one thing they could agree on. I feel like this is something they could do.
And finally, I have to throw you a bone, Jesse, because unfortunately for you, joined us late. You don't have a lot of predictions. You predicted this could still happen. Why are you booing Jesse?
Can you blame me for not making predictions? This is like a tough crowd.
No. I like it. You predicted that Pepsi would stop targeting ads to children as female leadership and emotional intelligence grows. Now, that could still happen. Much to
I love that.
To Vivek Ramaswamy's chagrin, that could still happen.
Now, I'll look up the Pepsi board. I think that one is actually of significantly higher probability than SBF, Adam Newman, and Elon Musk making a mega app for sure.
Does that mean I win over you, Matt? I win something over you?
The answer is yes.
Let's dial it back.
Here's 3 almost predictions. They almost came true. I like all of these. I predicted a massive COVID outbreak on a cruise ship in August would lead to an unsettling start to the school season. Now, I was right about the massive COVID outbreak.
You were. That was 100% correct.
What I didn't predict is that nobody cares anymore. And
nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
So it did nothing.
I also predicted in a strange way. First of all, I predicted that SBF would be sent to prison. I'm right about that. He was sent to prison, Larry Fink would steal his acronym and rebrand himself Super Badass Fink. I don't think that happens.
That's not going to happen. No.
I'm proud that I predicted that SBF would be in prison. And finally,
that
Matt,
was kind of a slam dunk prediction.
You predicted that to combat racism, that Wells Fargo would appoint Shaquille O'Neal, Shaq, to its board of directors. Now,
possible?
Here's what did happen. They did appoint a black female director to their board, Felicia Norwood.
I nailed
and unfortunately, this rarely happens. I have no idea why there are so few black female directors in the corporate world.
It was actually a better turnout.
That's Jesse. Thank you. You're absolutely right. A better turnout.
You weren't quite optimistic enough, Matt.
Yeah.
That's right. I thought they would go with Shaq as like a token, but they actually got a real director.
Before I get to the ones that we actually predicted right, let's talk about some of our guests that were on the show this year. Emily Chu, the great Emily Chu. I predicted that she'd get promoted based on her appearance on our show. Did Emily Chu get promoted last year? Do you know?
The verdict is... No, she was already the head of everything. What did you get promoted to?
I also egotistically predicted that Bruce Kahn of MSCI would also get promoted based on his appearance on our show. Did he get promoted, Matt?
Survey says
he did.
He left MSCI and got
he did. I didn't realize this.
As a portfolio manager at another company, which is clearly a promotion over like being like a client salesperson at MSCI.
Yes,
I would
and
say,
clearly based on his appearance here.
I think he probably
Yeah,
pointed
where's the
to
evidence
show.
on that?
Jesse,
Well,
the evidence is
come
right
on.
here with the three of us. Come on.
Yeah,
The
I
most
think
beloved show in
Ask him for his
ESG
resume. It's on
history.
there.
The most beloved ESG podcast in history.
We don't
we're
have
up
data
against
to
stiff
support that it's not.
That's true.
Just because we haven't paid for it, we don't know that it's not.
Anuj Shah, right? Anuj Shah. Ari predicted that he will never talk to us again. Matt, has he spoken to us since his appearance?
The survey says he has. He's talked to me many times.
Oh, so Ari, you're wrong. How about this one?
Ari was wrong.
Future guest, Vivek Ramaswamy. I predicted that we make fun of Vivek's anti-ESG crusade enough that he finally notices us.
Wow. Survey says
No. You emailed him.
he
You
did.
emailed him.
I emailed him, and he did respond very quickly.
right.
So that was it.
Let's get to some wins, some predictions that actually happened. I predicted that the media coverage of Pi Day. You know what Pi Day is, Jesse? Pi Day, March 14th.
Yes.
Will far outpace that of International Women's Day. Unfortunately, I'm right about that. No one cares about International Women's Day. All right. Ari predicted Twitter harassment scandal. I mean, everything at Twitter is a scandal. Everything.
Just say Twitter, and you predicted.
I predicted that the stock trading ban trying to be happen there in Congress is a much ado about nothing. I think I'm right about that. That's not.
No,
that
it
still
looks
hasn't
like it
happened.
might happen.
But it hasn't yet.
Okay, well, all right.
Okay, fine. Good. Matt, you predicted stakeholder lawsuits against Bobby Kotick. Yes, there were several, including one in May from New York City pension group there. I predicted that a company finally yells loudly about abortion rights in a meaningful way. Emma said it would be Bumble. We're both right. About Bumble, it was very actively involved in pro-choice politics. Matt, you predicted more guns. I don't know what that means, but unfortunately, you're right.
It was more guns.
Ari predicted that Chipotle would be the next Starbucks fighting unions, and actually
nailed that.
She's right, because right here in the great state of Maine, Chipotle shut down a location just because they unionized. They shut it down.
Yeah, now Maine everyone in Maine's got to get their E. coli from someone else.
I predicted the NFL would punish black quarterback Deshaun Watson way more than they would punish white owner Dan Snyder. I think I'm right about that, right?
Ooh, I'm gonna give that a wrong. No,
how has Dan Snyder been punished?
He's being forced to sell the team very quietly.
Hasn't happened yet. Hasn't happened.
Okay.
And what's the punishment?
$5 billion. What was Deshaun Watson's punishment? He got
11-game suspension.
11-game suspension and a $300 million contract.
You're right.
And the Cleveland Brown fans were actually celebrating the fact that he sexually harassed massage therapists.
Right. Jesse, when you edit the show, take that one out of that. Take that one out. Ari predicted that the Peter Thiel and dork Blake Masters would lose in Arizona. She was right.
Thank God.
I predicted that Elon Musk, this might be my best prediction of the year. I predicted that Elon Musk would accidentally lay himself off. and Matt, I think I might be right, because you told me when I was away that he announced a Twitter poll whether he should be CEO, and they said
he did.
No, and I think he kind of accidentally, right?
I think he laid himself off, but I think he immediately rehired himself and is looking for his own replacement.
Ari oddly predicted that more deer will die, but again, Jesse, you know what I'm trying to say, right? I mean, what kind of a prediction is that?
I don't even know where to start with that, but I'm just going to say there's a similar one on this year's.
Oh, really?
Ari saw it. I won't give it away for her sake, but yeah.
And finally, Matt, you predicted that the Twitter board would say yes to Elon Musk buying because half of them are in the bag. That's right. I mean, you got that right.
I mean, I would say that was genius prediction.
Yeah. I also have a category here called probably didn't happen, but I don't really care because I just like this prediction. Okay. We got the great Emma Lurking. I think this is really was the best thing she did was just kind of a silly prediction. She predicted that Dan Snyder actually has 15 wives, and he handed over control of the Commanders to his favorite sister wife. I just like that. She also predicted the pizza robot will become sentient and declare war with Italy. I like
that's a
one,
good
too.
one. Yeah, I really like that one.
And maybe my favorite is that she predicted that Joe Rogan would become an ESG advisor. I don't know why. I just like that.
No, that's not my favorite. I do like a sentient pizza robot declaring war with Italy.
And Matt, you had two that I liked that I don't think are going to happen. You predicted, Matt, Disney gay scrub. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I don't
but
know
I
what
love
this
it.
is.
I love it. You also predicted that Domino's moves to all metal boxes to avoid further recycling controversy. I like the idea. I love it.
I would love like a pizza like delivery person with a car full of metal boxes.
It's like instead of, the milkman boxes, you've got your like Domino's box outside your frequent buyer.
And finally, someone wrote this in my absence. I'm going to call this just you guys being mean. Just being mean. You predicted that I will give all of my shares in free float entirely to the rest of the team and quit when I realize how apparently there's no need for me anymore because shows went out when I was away. That's just
I
mean.
wonder who made that.
That's just mean. And finally, my favorite prediction of the year from the great Ari, the data queen. She predicted that hot dog prices will go up.
Yeah, and they did.
Ew.
Inflation.
So, see, Jesse, I was crapping on Ari, but in the end, it was my favorite of the year. Hot dog prices
There
will go up.
she
Jamie
is.
I don't know
does
what
have a
that means
soft
yet.
spot for like old hot dog water. Like that's one of his favorite reference points.
Oh.
That was our 2022 predictions review show.
Pre-prediction show.
Tomorrow is
Yeah.
our prediction
Oh
gasm
my
for
God.
2023. We've
Oof.
got nothing, but we're going to tell you what's going to happen in 2023. You need to hear it because some of them, I can already tell you,
Hey,
some of them are the
We
greatest
get some of these
things.
right. We get some of these right.
He's talking about his own.
Oh, okay.
No, well, Damien hasn't written any. Ari
So
has
he-
four ideas.
I predicted the
Jesse has
anti-ESG culture
No,
war.
I
predicted
have
it.
4 now. I have 4 now.
All I know is that the ones I came up with are great, and everybody else's I have
like
no idea
mine.
what they said. But tune in so you can hear it. Until then, goodbye.